Hey everybody, it's the Last Robo-Kai here, and it is time for the final video for Dawn of War, the entire Let's Play. And it is just one more Soulstorm Unification Mod survival map, because I love these. That doesn't mean it's the end of Soulstorm in general on this channel. Like I've said, I'm going to probably at some point try to get a bunch of people together and try out the multiple players survival maps and also the Last Stand maps. Particularly the Last Stand maps hold a lot of interest to me because Last Stand is probably the greatest thing that Relic ever squandered after creating in Dawn of War 2.
Yeah.
And it's a slobber knocker for today as well for this survival mode. So joining me is Cool Guy. I'm not saying who is actually going to be fighting who until we sort of hit the loading screen. Because the way I set it up is that I randomized everything.
This is super blessed, by the way. Like, don't get intimidated by the length of this video. If you need to pause it, go away, take a nap, whatever.
Yeah.
But like he told me what's up, and like I'm super looking forward to this. This is gonna be blessed as hell.
Yep, and just like last time, I will also at the end of this video have the the army painter up, so that everyone can just kind of look and see some of the units that appear or do not appear up close. So with that said, it's like a very, very long video for today, so let's get stuck straight in.
And that is
the UI is still incredible, but we're going to be
no.
playing...
Well, I was looking at like the weird face that the map is making. It's like
the chaos ritual.
It's like a Kefka face or some nonsense.
Yeah, so we'll be playing as the Imperial Fists Siege Vanguard faction.
Ooh.
That picture, some people might be like, "Oh man, the Legion of the Damned, they'd be cool." Yeah, they're actually a faction in this game as well. So you can play as the Legion of the Damned.
Everybody's a faction in this game, and that is not a dig on it.
For those wondering, the Legion of the Damned are a mysterious group of Space Marines who seem to appear from nowhere in the Imperium's direst hour. And they're very, very almost impossible to kill, and they murder everything like strange vengeful ghosts covered in weird death and fire, and then they vanish again. Some people believe that they are a particular Space Marine chapter. I think it was the Firehawks, whose entire chapter vanished into the warp. One of the members, I think, of the Cursed Founding. I'm probably wrong on that, but
I can double check that.
They were in the Badab conflict as well, and by all accounts, one of the reasons why everything escalated as badly as it did. So I consider the Legion of the Damned on their penitent quest at this point.
So yeah, the Legion of the Damned is actually has an unknown founding, but everybody popularly suspects that they were part of the 21st Cursed founding, and they were originally the Firehawks. Yes.
Wow, it's amazing. It's amazing what my brain does and does not retain. Because like people have had to sort of correct me on here and there's because I've sometimes smushed the details together. But it's just like that one was just like straight out of my head. Yeah, the Legion of the Damned were kind of an interesting thing because they sort of came out of nowhere. And you could only... Oh, okay. I should probably just go from the Legion of Damned, just start talking about how the Imperial Fists play. The Imperial Fists are a Space Marine chapter, but they're also kind of weird in how they perform. They're very much an army that benefits from establishing siege lines. They can build fortifications. They can fortify their buildings. And most confusingly of all... and it took me a little bit to actually sort of realize, but they only get one building that produces power, and it's through upgrading the armor of that building, because that's what you can reinforce the armor of all the buildings. That actually increases the power generation. And it took me a little bit to realize that. In addition, listening posts also have like their output increased by reinforcing it as well.
I will say, I was not expecting to see a lovingly recreated setup of the Siege Marine.
Yes. So the Siege Marines have their bolters and the shield. They're the scout equivalent, which is kind of interesting. I think I basically had a squad or two of them that survived all the way through. I don't remember if I delete them or
That's
not.
on brand.
And I'm also appreciating that they just put the hand of Nod on.
Sure, why not? It's the
Sorry,
Fist
on
of
the
Dorn.
barracks.
Don't worry about it.
So yeah, there's our one power building. We only get one, so it's actually like a really important critical piece of infrastructure that we want to protect. And it does take me quite a while to realize, because I've jumped into this with no practice on either of these. I was just like, I'm going to random these factions, and damn the consequences. Whatever happens, happens. And I was like, huh? Wait, what? And I'm reading the thing here basically saying, oh dear. I somehow missed the serious build more fortify add-ons to strengthen it. Somehow my brain just didn't process that part. My brain went to like I'm reading this and I somehow still read over the part that says, hey, you're gonna need to like upgrade it in order to do it. I was like focusing on the wrong part of like the thing it was
utterly
telling me.
Incredible.
So that one's on me.
The stats on those tech marines are also ridiculous. Friggin' like 60 some odd melee damage on them. Like again, that's on brand. Like I remember when I was playing Chaos Gate a long time ago. Speaking of chaos, you appear to be fighting chaos, huh?
Yeah. In fact, we're fighting Nurgle cultists. The faction we are facing against today is rather appropriately the Death Guard.
Son of a bitch.
the famous Marines of Nurgle, who are noted for being incredibly tough. So we've got a situation where we're going to be using the faction best suited for a siege, and holding out. So you can build like little fortification pieces and things like that. Beacons that can be used to drop down thunder cannons. There's a lot going on. But yeah, like I'm still like, huh? I don't pause this. I'm like, this is why the video is
seriously grinding. I can see the loading screen on your brain.
Yeah, my brain is just like, huh? And I'm a really quick reader, by the way, and somehow I think that actually was to my detriment. I was reading the wrong part. I will get it, don't worry. I will get it, and we do win, so it's not too bad.
It is worth noting that I've confirmed that in like multiple other games. This man puts speed readers to shame.
But yeah, so we're building a little beacon. This is where our Space Marines with their bolters go. Now, Imperial Fists have a very strong bolter doctrine, so you can get some quite good upgrades to how they perform. And now we're summoning down a thunderfire cannon.
Siege Captain. Yeah.
So that'll be very handy. It's essentially a little mobile turret that'll help hold the line early on. When it gets there. You can almost hear the Thomas the Tank Engine theme playing.
Yeah, I appreciate how it counts as a vehicle, but it doesn't actually use any vehicle cap. just fortify forever with these mostly static cannons. Again,
see,
incredibly on brand.
My brain doesn't even recognize the fact that right literally there on the button that you press that makes it upgrade, that reinforces it, also has a picture of the power lightning thing with a plus next to it. Like, my brain just is not comprehending something that looks like a Space Marine but doesn't play exactly like a Space Marine. It's a miracle I get through this.
That is a well-known psychological phenomenon, by the way. Basically, you put an expert into a situation that's just a little bit different from how they normally do things, and they're no longer an expert, and they frequently don't realize it.
Yeah. So I will also say I am not going to be able to really tell a huge amount. So that's an interesting thing. That is a temporary thing you can get for the Imperial Fists Space Marine squad, which just gives them anti-tank weapons for a brief period of time.
The missile launchers?
Yeah, that's a temporary ability. They just suddenly have rocket launchers, and you can see on the listing posts. The reinforcement button on the bottom right-hand corner also had a little plus and a flag on it. They've made it very clear, like, this is not a design problem with the game. The mod makers, they have done everything they can to try and help my tiny brain get through this. And my tiny brain, just press the button. I knew the entire time I was doing it, so I'm like, oh, this is gonna look so ridiculous because I'm just like, I'm drag-assing on that.
Something to repair.
The Imperial Fists are an interesting founding chapter as well with the whole Space Marine thing. In no small part because, well, they, like the Ultramarines, don't really have any major divergence in their gene seed, and they also have a substantial number of Successor chapters. Not as much as the Ultramarines, but still quite a lot.
I think they do have a couple of minor divergences in their gene seed, but it's some.
Yeah, it's like
the
a gland
Belcher's
or two
gland
is weird.
Yeah, like there's a particular gland that allows the Space Marine to spit acid, and I think it's called the Belcher's gland or something like that.
I believe you're correct. Yes.
Yeah, I forget precisely what it's called. That's non-functional in the Imperial Fists, which caused a a chapter master that succeeded Dorn to say, "What the fuck do I care? We're the Imperial Fists. We crush our enemies."
Imagine like trying to shit talk someone because they don't spit like shit they ate.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm just gonna build some walls. I'm just like, I'll build some walls. We'll see how this goes. Unfortunately, I am really bad at building defensive walls, so there will be many gaps, and it'll also make pathfinding nightmarish for everybody.
I mean, like that. I'm 99% positive, like more than the overall vision of, hey, this should be a very oh, good, Plagueborn. Okay, well, at least he's beating up on the
plague
wall.
Zombies. So plague zombies are annoying.
Oh, gross! They poo gas on you.
They poo gas when they die. Apparently, the squads cannot be reinforced from the little blurb. I won't be able to tell anyone too much about how the Death Guard play because obviously I don't get to spend much time like mousing over how they perform or anything like that. But I will be able to, at the very least, tell you of my own personal experiences with the Imperial Fists. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of lucky. The Chaos Lord is not interested in actually fighting anything but the wall.
I mean,
which is what it's there for. So
before he became a Chaos Lord, he was just a really big fan of the WWE.
It's the wall.
It's the wall, brother. It's the wall. And after he became,
if someone corrects us, yes, WCW.
Yeah. Sorry, that was the WCW. My mistake. I can't keep this garbage straight.
It was like I always remember it from WrestleCrap. It's just being the story of like how like you just sort of see him up on a wall, and it's just like it's like how did you see him? It's so far away. So yeah, I built our next generator before I actually still build our next fucking.
At least you got something going.
Yeah, with more power. Because I'm gonna need it. Because this is only gonna escalate. This is just the first. This is just the first major level 1 wave. Like all the cultists and stuff. That's just the. They were just the little grist. It's the actual actual big gribblies. That's the real problem.
Level increased to 2.
Faithful servants.
And it's interesting because Rogel Dawn is the Primarch of the Imperial Fists, right? And yeah, so say here's a straight upgrade like for bolters, like the sort of unique to all the bolt weapons. And it was always sort of interesting because I think he might have been the first Primarch that was found after they were all dispersed across the galaxy. Obviously, as everybody knows,
sure that's correct.
Yeah, as everybody knows, Horus was found. I don't think if Horus even left Earth, he didn't go very far, and the Emperor found him very quickly. And so they spent a lot of time together, like father and son, getting ready for the Great Crusade. And when they went out on their Great Crusade, Rogel Dawn actually came to meet them when they approached. And he, seemingly aware of what was going on already, perhaps because of his general proximity and hearing about it and everything like that, and just realizing, oh yeah, that guy's probably my dad, because he's huge and he has a huge son, and I'm a huge son. There you go, look, I did it!
Hey! You got there quicker than I thought you were going to, honestly. The way you were going on about it, I thought we were going to be at 30 minutes in, and you would have been like, oh, hey, now I get it.
And so he appeared, and he didn't just turn up and say, hey guys, how's it going? He appeared with a giant space fortress that he had constructed, as a gift. And I believe it's called the Phalanx. And in terms of the Warhammer 40,000 timeline, it managed to survive the Horus Heresy. It managed to survive a very long period of Imperial history, and still exists up to the point of the 13th Black Crusade when everything gets super fucked. You actually get to use it in the Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 tutorial.
And then never again, because God knows you're gonna blow that thing up. Like, particularly in terms of Battlefleet Gothic, like you're gonna blow that thing up. As though the zombies blowing up when they died wasn't disgusting enough.
Let me just put more misaligned walls. That's gonna trigger someone. They have Arnold Schwarzenegger working in their ranks, I guess.
I mean,
that's the Tech Modine. I'm guessing they wanted to go the mad scientist route. But anyway, so Imperial Fists are... They do have a lot of little different eccentricities and quirks, but they're not so much physical as they are psychological ones. They sort of have in common with have a lot in common with like their successors as well. But generally speaking, Rogel Dawn often boasted of his capacity to be able to build a fortification that could not be overcome, and you know, you can hear at least one Primarch reeing in the background as he says this.
Yeah. Not unsurprisingly, one of those Primarchs is the Primarch now Demon Prince of the Death Guard that we're fighting.
And the Iron Warriors as well.
The Iron Warriors too. Dorn is kind of interesting because he wasn't a directly controversial Primarch the way, for example, Sanguinus could be, right? Because Sanguinus, in addition to having like some angel wings and stuff like that, and everybody being like
psychic powers,
that's a mutation. Shouldn't we be doing something about that? And the Emperor basically goes, "Nah, I'm sure it's fine." In addition to all of that, Sanguinus was just kind of an arrogant dick, and Dorn did a lot of boasting, but it was with really good basis. Like he only talked shit after he had done his homework thoroughly.
Dorn's biggest failing was simply that he did not lie. Yeah. He did not believe in lying at all. Like, not even white lies. He would straight up. If you asked him up, if you asked him a question, if you asked him for his opinion, he would give you his opinion, and you would probably hate it because he had an eye for finding flaws in things, and shoring them up. So if he saw a flaw in you, he would try and shore you up.
It genuinely makes him one of the best friends you could possibly have, just so long as you're willing to take the beating that he's going to dole out. Don't get it twisted. He will dole out a beating.
Of course, that is to say, the Night Haunter ate his liver.
Yeah.
That was a thing. They had an argument, and a lot of other characters found them with the Night Haunter just like chewing on Dorn.
Yeah. Anybody who had an
That's
ego.
another weird factoid that just sort of popped into my head. It was just like, yes, the Night Lord's Primarch did actually eat like one of his vital organs.
Yep. Definitely a thing that happened, and I remember at the end of it, like after they were finally separated, and Dorn was removed from the situation. He basically just shrugged and said, "Worth it." It's just like this is what happens when you do the things you say you're going to do. This is like he said something to the effect of, this is the price of stalwartness or reliability. I forget the word he used, but he's like, this is basically the price of being a reliable and honest person, and I'm happy to pay it. And it went so far that like Robokai's correct. He wouldn't tell you a white lie. He wouldn't spare your ego. He also just wouldn't decline to answer the question, which was one of the biggest ways that he got that he ended up getting manipulated by Horus in the heresy was that you know like Horus would simply say, "Hey Dorn, what do you think about this incredibly heretical and terrible thing?" And the correct thing, the smart thing to do in that situation would be to simply say, "Hey, I don't really want to answer that question. Like I don't know enough about it. It's weird to me. I don't really want to answer that question." And then tell somebody like using your reputation of reliability to expose this horrible thing that's happening. And instead, Dorn would just say, "I think that's heretical as shit. You should stop it. And you know, like we should go do X, Y, and Z to stop it and bury it." Which, of course, you know, Horus would basically say, "Oh yeah, cool. That's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's do that tomorrow." Disappears in the night.
Yeah, how do you think we should deal with this? I just do this. It's like, okay, well, I'll make sure to you know, protect against that.
Yeah. How about we never do that? And I will be absolutely certain that when you try to do that, it's not going to work. His unfailing truthfulness just ended up causing so many problems for the loyalists in the Horus heresy. It's almost sad.
Yeah, it's like he was just his failing was that he just he did not hold back, and so it kind of like reflects in the Imperial Fists themselves in their own personal view of weakness, insofar as they strive to overcome it, and they have a little bit of a masochistic streak as a result of it. They ever, like, you know, for perceived failings, they will often essentially submit themselves to ritual painting, is probably the best way to put it, in order to sort of, you know, strip away their weakness. And Rogel Dawn was apparently quite fond of immersing himself in this thing called the Iron Glove, or whatever, which is basically just... Pain glove or something. It was basically, it was not a glove in like the literal sense. It was more like full body submerging yourself in like something that just caused you horrific pain, and he would just meditate in that. Which is just like, that's kind of wild.
A little far over the edge there, and I think actually you're on reflection, you're probably right, and I'm thinking about something different because
it's probably something glove.
Yeah, I think you're right, and then like because I know that there is a thing called a pain glove. It's like a very specific piece of war gear that
there is like I think there's also like a glove that you can put on your hand.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Because I don't think anyone would survive like the full body version, like Dorn.
Possibly not. Just saying. But,
assuming I'm not misremembering the Dorn thing.
You can
you
can literally take these on like veteran Imperial Fists that you play, and it gives them like a morale bonus or some shit. I don't exactly remember, but like the entire description is just, hey, this person's one hand is just constantly like both electrified and on fire with pain, it
helps me concentrate.
Horror, and it makes them and it helps them concentrate. It's like, are you okay? Do you like that deserves some thoughts and some explanation? But all right.
Yeah, so we're putting up some like stuff here. Honestly, like I would think it's sometimes it can be a detriment if you don't outrage your enemy. But I don't really have the necessary artillery yet to outrage them, to like, you know, properly destroy a lot of these things. Like the melee enemies will come up and get into trouble. You can sort of also see we've just got a lot of like really weird sort of variations of units, which is kind of cool. They're not just a Space Marine chapter. Like, it's not just like a Space Marine chapter with a few changes. They've like definitely got their own feel, their own sort of touch. Like the person or persons involved in the creation of the Imperial Fists, Siege Vanguard, have gone to great lengths to make them feel like a force that is unique, even though they're still a Space Marine force, and I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
They were a treat to play, and like you might have even noticed, like there are like some weird character choice options going on in and that I had to figure out as I went, because the more astute of people might have noticed that there were somewhat weirdly like multiple like force commander types in there. There's I don't remember his name, but it'll come up whenever we mouse over the characters, hopefully. Oh, it's not in this. It's not in the infantry thing. It's in the main building. But you can see we've got Centurions there, which are the big sort of stocky pseudo Terminator armors that are kind of cool. We'll show those off soon enough. We've got Terminator armor, but there's more than one Force Commander type, and one of them's a special character, and he has a kind of like this weird quirk where you kind of want him to fall in battle, because when he falls in battle, you can then build a veteran dreadnought version of him.
Whoa!
Like a venerable dreadnought, and drop it in, and then use it and I think it has like special abilities and buffs for everyone around it. And then when it gets destroyed, you have to then rebuild the original Force Commander to die again. I don't think just deleting him works. I think he actually has to die in battle.
That is sick.
It's an interesting thing, as they've got like they use the soul currency, but it's like you get one soul, and this particular thing costs one soul. And when you and you don't get that one soul back when the other thing dies. They've also got fucking graviton guns.
Man, those. Go ahead.
I was having a drink.
Oh yeah, no, graviton guns are something that like now that you mentioned it, like I'm reviewing it, I'm pretty sure we've never mentioned anything about it in this Let's Play because it doesn't really come up, and the only time that I think we might have mentioned it has been in like the Space Marine Let's Play, because like you get to use it like once or twice. But like that is a very cool weapon. It's one it's one of the weapons that I like most in terms of the creativity and everything that they have in the in Warhammer 40k Space Marine like armory, because effectively what it does is it fires a beam that when it hits something, it pulls like the upper half, for lack of a better term, because it's going to hit and it's going to have like a small impact area. And the top half or whatever of that impact area is going to try to basically go one way, and the bottom half is going to be like indelibly repelled from it and try to go the exact opposite direction. And it's just like, so anything that you shoot with it is basically gonna get ripped apart by gravitational manipulation, which is generally a cool weapon concept. The implementation is particularly interesting, simply because it makes it something that's specifically good against harder targets like tanks and everything. Not because it can't fire as quickly, but because the skin that it's hitting is less malleable. So like it literally just does worse against people who have less armor, because you're shooting something that is more malleable and can stretch better.
The denser the target, the better it works, essentially.
Right.
And this is what it looks like, and it sort of has the side effect, I believe, when shooting on somebody, on a target, of slowing them down. Not much of an issue if you're a missile troop. When you're already standing still.
And also when you're fighting, you know, the like Nurglites.
Yeah, they're gooey and stretchy with the best of them.
Well, that and also they're already slow.
Yeah, that's true as well. So we're building the Centurion. We'll probably have to kill like a squad or two in the process, and we're also building Leandro Diarchibus, or however you pronounce that, Arquebus. But he's the guy that'll turn into the Venerable Dreadnought when he kicks the bucket, I think.
Land Raider Achilles Alpha. All right.
Yeah. There's interesting variations of everything, and they're interesting insofar as you get two variations of relic unit in this game. There's the Land Raider that we don't have. We don't have the authority to build yet, and the other one I'm gonna hold on to. I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket.
Oh dear, a Demon Prince. All right, so that's happening right now.
Yeah, Demon Prince and Nurgle. It's time. Things have escalated. The Chaos Lord in the regular waves will now be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Level 4 and there's a Demon Prince. This entire map is kicking it into gear a hell of a lot faster than the last one. So this is also a frickin' theme with all of the Nurg lights here. God forbid you're playing a melee power like the orcs and tangling with these dickheads, because every last one of them explodes. Tech Marine Terminator. Wow, that is a deep cut. I think I literally can't the last time I remember seeing a Tech Marine Terminator be mentioned anywhere is something like maybe the second or third codex I ever read.
You can reinforce them so that they're even hardier.
Wow.
Yeah, the Tech Marines in the Imperial Fist Force are pretty resolute. So the Imperial Fists have a lot of varied Successor chapters as a result of the things. Like, my personal favorite Successor chapter, the Executioners, is a Imperial Fist chapter, Successor chapter, which is again the Badab system conflict, and it's interesting to note with them because they're very much not your standard Imperial Fist force. They're a lot less stoic. They aren't interested in siege works, and they just generally have a weird sort of ancestor worship in regards to like storytelling. I've talked about the Executioners a lot. I love them. They have a chaplain known as Tulsa Doom. Like, it's such a good booming intoning sort of threatening name. And the way that most of the Imperial Fists, or at least some of the Imperial Fists, get together is they'll sometimes hold a little tournament amongst their Emperor's champions. Because the Imperial Fists, although the Emperor's champion is most commonly a position held in a fight by the Black Templars. I think they wiped that because the next wave's coming. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just looking at those cultists. They're just like, all right.
Yeah, I think it just gave us like a warning klaxon that the next wave is coming, or that might be the music. Who knows? But
whichever.
Because the Emperor's champion was a position held by the guy who went on to lead the Black Templars, Sigismund, I believe, and so they have a tradition of holding into it. But it's also ostensibly a position that will often be held with a bit less of a dire meaning to it, in the rest of the Imperial Fist chapters here and there, and so. Those that do still hold to it will often get together and have the Feast of Blades, I believe it's called, where a bunch of different Successor chapters put forward their best warrior, and they will fight in hand-to-hand combat in duels with these swords, and the one who wins is gets to be recorded in the annals as the winner of this number of them, and. There was the Dark Eldar have actually managed to successfully kidnap one, for use in their arenas, and which is a funny story in and of itself.
Every story involving the Dark Eldar is bloody insane.
Yeah, basically the leader of one of the most prominent witch cults, whose name eludes me at the moment, but rest assured she is a special character and she is crazy. Declared that she would give the ultimate gift to whoever could bring to her a proper challenge, and everyone was like, "Oh shit." Lilith Hesperex, I think her name is. And they were like, "Oh shit, that sounds really cool." And so everyone brought forward the best thing they could kill, and because she's so damn good at what she does, she killed them without breaking a sweat. And then this one guy goes, "I got this," and drops a fucking winner of the Feast of Blades in her lap. And to his credit, that Feast of Blades guy actually managed to wound her before he got horribly eviscerated. And the Archon, swaggered in the arena, and he was like, "I'm ready for my gift." And she goes, sure, and hands him a blade. And he's like, I'm sorry? And she goes, the greatest gift that I can give anybody is a death at my hands.
Fuck.
Pranked.
Get
He didn't last nearly as
destroyed.
long as the
Yeah.
as the champion did. Desecrator! We're getting some
Oh,
funky
wow.
old weapons now. We're getting some funky old things now. Look at that thing. I love it. It's a less
That
artillery-based
laser
defiler.
rapier destroyer looks so cool in action.
Yeah, it's probably not as durable as some other things. But now we've got our alpha. Just need to get it close enough that it can start using all of its like fun weapons. Twin-linked assault cannons, things like that. I think it's got
Really
multi-melters.
concerned about what. Okay, it didn't explode the way I thought it was going to. I thought for certain that desecrator was going to blow up and take half your infantry with it.
Desecrator just full of nothing but goo. Yeah, we've got like a wide variety of vehicles. I do try and show off quite a lot of them. And yeah, so the Imperial Fists have a very long and storied history, and that continues to persist to this day. Yeah, see, can only be sparingly recruited with the Venerable Dreadnought. Apparently has access to hidden war gear. Apparently, if you deploy the Imperial Fists alongside Black Templars, you can actually get an Emperor's Champion. So, like, if someone feels like you do a survival mode map together, and another player is playing as the Black Templars, because yes, they are also a modded faction.
I believe
you
it.
get like extra war gear. So it's just kind of like someone's actually also managed to make a mod that contains interactions with other mods in an extremely like complex way. So like that's why I keep talking about how much I love the work that the modders for these games have done, because it just blows my brains out. Just like little touches like that.
Yeah, no, I've always kind of appreciated the aesthetic of the Black Templars, which is basically all psycho all the time. So like, we end up
What your army says about
playing this
you,
game.
if you play the Imperial Fists, you're the guy who's really obnoxious and will not like move on a point. If you play the Ultramarines, you've got a superiority complex. If you play the Dark Angels, you got something going on. If you play the Black Templars, you're the racist. That's right. That was a Hearts of Irons reference. I love that video. Which Hearts of Irons 4 modded character are you? And it's just like it gives a few no ones. It's just the racist. The racist.
I mean, considering the whole every psyker must die thing, like it
the
sticks.
racist.
It sticks.
The racist.
The racist.
It's beautiful. Only Hearts of Iron players will truly understand.
I mean, I have played altogether too many grand strategy games, so I knew exactly what you were talking about. Saw that hit coming, did not move out of the way. Walked right into it.
Yeah, so we've taken the thing, so now we can build our like our Titan class vehicle, which is to say, something kind of funky and wild. The Ironclad is such an interesting kind of like it's like a siege dreadnought as well. We can also build a sister Hospitalia for whatever reason.
I mean,
Like I wasn't really that familiar with like Imperial Fist lore. Maybe someone will be like, oh yeah, there's like there's a story where one accompanies them, etc., etc. Yeah, and I guess what's his face died, so I can build the Venerable Dreadnought now.
yeah. I'm actually curious about the decision to put a sister Hospitalier in there instead, simply because like it's not like they have something against Apothecaries or anything in the Imperial Fist. Quite the opposite. Like Apothecary is a incredibly well regarded.
In fact, I would not imagine them actually allowing his sister Hospitalia to handle Gene Seed, so I find her inclusion kind of weird. But
Yeah,
like I said, there must be like a novel or something where it happens,
it's got to be something like that. Because like all of the in addition to the usual responsibilities that they have of preserving Gene Seed, keeping Battle Brothers standing, blah blah blah, like all of the ritual pain stuff that we were talking about earlier. it's an Imperial Fist Apothecary's responsibility to administer and oversee all of those things. So, like
God,
you
love these
don't
vehicles coming in.
you don't just go to a Imperial Fist Apothecary because you got shot. You go there almost as readily as you go to the Primarch, or not Primarch, Chaplain for spiritual growth and spiritual guidance.
And now we've got the glaive now, a super heavy tank.
Oh lordy!
And you can already tell it's packing an absolutely disgusting kind of plasma cannon on the front of it. The problem, of course, is going to be where I position myself for this, because I've kind of got myself in a pretty strong position, but like my forces are starting to sort of clump together, which means I'll either need to pull forward or pull back to like be able to get everybody in a firing line together.
The thing looks like that one ridiculously oversized tank
Dripping.
from EDF. Like the model number is just good. Okay, well, yeah, no, that did a thing.
That
All right.
it's whatever the hell is that? It's dripping. Like,
Good Lord Almighty.
yeah. So Dawn of War Pathfinding and I are going to be having a bit of a conflict for the moment. So and so I guess this is probably like while we wait for one of the final surprises of the Imperial Fist Siege Vanguard to get sort of deployed. We'll talk a little bit about the Death Guard, because the Death Guard are actually kind of an interesting thing as well.
They are.
And it really does stem from Mortarion, the Primarch of the Death Guard, in that when he was dispersed like all the Primarchs were, he landed on a planet where the higher up into the atmosphere you got, the more foul this like horrible plague stuff was, and it was so bad that even Mortarion's own personal like superhuman degrees of like resistance and power couldn't entirely cope with all of it. And what this meant is that like he was recovered by one of the lords of the planet, who was somebody who was obviously able to, probably thanks to Nurgle designs, resist that sort of thing. And so, even though he was raised by this guy, the guy knew that at any point Mortarion could probably try and kill him because he was certainly strong enough. He just didn't have the resistance. So when, like, he would basically hide himself up at a higher point where Mortarion couldn't go, Mortarion, regardless, upon seeing the people down below and seeing all the shit they were going through, was like, this can't continue, I have to take care of him. And a fellow clad in mysterious energies appeared before him and was like, hey dude, don't do that, you'll die, why don't you come hang out with me instead? And he was like, no, I gotta go do this. And he walks up and succumbs to the miasma. And as his adoptive father strides out to kill him, the Emperor reveals himself, stands in front of him, and cuts the guy down. And Mortarion wasn't ostensibly a Nurgle worshipper. It was actually Typhon in his own ranks from the planet who had long ago given himself over and was basically in like a long con to turn Mortarion and also his entire legion over to Nurgle, and basically instigated a whole series of events that eventually resulted in the stranding of Mortarion and the Death Guard in sort of in the warp, or in the middle of nowhere, but probably in the warp, and through that essentially damned them, got them all infested with Nurgle's rot, and eventually turned Mortarion over to Nurgle to save all of them. Basically, Typhon got out pretty good out of all of that. Like a lot of pranking went into that. Here's a Vindicator. It's a pretty powerful siege weapon. It's got just a massive artillery cannon. It's basically designed to go up to like fortifications and just shoot at them and like punch giant gaping holes at them. So it's a good combination of like artillery and and killtillery. Mm-hmm. So the Death Guard are particularly scary for Nurgle worshippers because as we spoke about early on in I think even Dawn of War 2's Let's Plays, the reason why the Chaos Gods so love Space Marines as cat's paws is by the way, Rogaldorn. Rogaldorn. He's a relic. He's a relic unit.
Don't worry about it.
We'll build him soon enough. We'll get rid of the Land Raider. We'll have to kill a squad or two, and then we'll build him. Yeah, the Assault Centurions, while cool, I don't think work too well for the way I'm playing. You can play in it. You've got assault units that you can put together, but because I'm playing a fairly static defense, the Assault Centurions tend to get run out and get overwhelmed. So I don't tend to build too many of them. The Devastated Centurions are very effective, though do suffer from the fact they haven't got a huge number of models. But yeah, the Chaos Space Marines are, like Space Marines in general, are heavily resistant to not so much to mutation, but to the effects of mutation. So, you know, growing an extra organ and everything has put them in good stead for having to put up with like various mutations, turning their hands into claws and things like that. So when Nurgle gives them a plague that bloats their body and makes their intestines fall out and stuff like that, they can handle it pretty well. And
it's like, whatever, this is fine.
And the Death Guard are a sort of a weird combination of a pretty powerful standing army, but also an insidious, subversive infiltration force. They're not like the way that you would see the Alpha Legion or the Night Lords do it. They will typically vanguard their forces with plagues. They will distribute various plagues to areas that will destabilize them, disrupt them, upset the balance of power, turn people into zombies so that people start panicking, and then people start, when the authorities or the Hospitalier can't cure it, they start panicking and they start crying out for help, and basically when things fall into complete chaos, for lack of a better term, that's when the Death Guard might move in with more force. They might not need to. The entire thing might just fall into the warp alone from these horrible warp-borne viruses that they're spreading around. Because make no mistake, they are demonically infested flus.
And it's the doctrine there was reinforced by Ferrus Manus, the Primarch of the Iron Hands himself, when he said something to the effect of, "Say what you will about the Death Guard, but they're ugly bastards, but they're tough and tenacious. There's no one I would rather have on my side in a war of attrition, and nobody I'd want to fight less in the same conflict."
Which ended up being quite ironic considering what happened to Ferrus Manus.
Yeah.
Commander.
Chaplain too. Jeez, Louise. These guys got everything.
They have a lot of stuff in terms of like characters and things like that. They're quite meaty in terms of content. But yeah, you could definitely get them up to be an assault force. Like their bolters are best. Their bolters best work at like medium range. So you can have pretty solid support. But since we're on the survival side of surviving, the enemy are going to be coming at us. So we want to sort of place ourselves thusly. God, I love to see the big old beams of my units coming in. I'm not getting to use like the maximum amount of my force just because of this choke point, but I'm still enjoying it.
I'm really enjoying just watching the way that the demon princes die because it's almost artful if you really look at it, because they kind of turn around or whatever, but if you look close, they are literally twisting themselves inside out just prior to their detonation.
That's good stuff.
It's very good stuff. Anyway, just to be clear for folks who might not be familiar, like Rogaldorn being a relic unit is kind of hysterical because, so there were a number of after the Horus Heresy and the heretics got driven back, and a lot of the traitor Primarchs became demon princes and blah blah blah. The most common thing to happen for loyalist Primarchs would be for them to either get horrifically wounded and have to be put into stasis in the case of Gulliman, or they would basically just get up one day and disappear. In the case of
He's got the mustache.
Wow, that is That is something special. I'm not sure if it's special with special in the normal way or special with an HUL just yet. But
Father, my armor is cringe.
Yeah. But like
Here he is.
yeah. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Like I'm like. What is he doing now? Oh, that's what he's doing now. Wow, he arrived just in time for this SmackDown. Holy balls.
He's not really as tough as I would like to expect from a Primarch, but he's still pretty good. But yeah, the thing about Rogal Dawn was that he kicked around for quite a while, and he kept on going right up till I think it was like the first Black Crusade.
Correct.
Where performing a boarding action on a particular enemy like particularly superior enemy ship, he was just never found again, and all they found was like what they think was his hand, which they keep like reduced to a skeleton.
Yeah, it was a skeletal hand that is basically the most holy relic of the Imperial Fists, but he's unique in that that's as close to a confirmed kill as you get in any of the Primarchs. Either they get horrifically wounded and you know that they're there, but they're unlikely to come back until the story needs them, like Gulliman, or you had somebody like Lehman Russ who basically just says, all right, cool, I'm gonna go wander over there now, and then he never comes back.
Yeah, obviously some Primarchs died during the Horus Heresy. They don't count because we know like that we're talking post heresy here.
Yeah, we're talking post heresy here. You get because the heresy itself was just like a knockdown drag out fight. Those sorts of things happen, but like after the heresy, it's really very rare for somebody to just be a confirmed kill. And like Dorn is about as close to a confirmed kill as you can ask for. To have him just sort of show up eager as you please here is pretty weird.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they ever like bring him back. But yes, we have crossed the rubric Primaris, and so we can deploy Primaris Marines, and I think also Primaris versions of the Force Commander can also be activated, where like you deploy them and then you do that upgrade, and it's here we go. We're switching our Force Commander with a Primaris version. He's off to get the surgery real quick. He's getting a quick nip and tuck.
I'll be back. Don't worry about it.
He's instantly BRB.
Demon Prince of Nurgle Dorn is just sort of
and he becomes Tor Garadon, who I guess is another important character.
Yeah, I don't recognize that.
He's got like a weird shoulder-mounted thingy doobie. I think he can build stuff, or at least like build upgrades onto himself.
The Space Marine squads in back are just sort of like, you know what, we're good now. Like you guys have this handled.
The glaive does a lot of work.
Yeah,
but as everyone can probably tell, we're only at 7, and there's still a lot of time left. Because some of these waves are gonna get pretty big.
That is something that I'm noticing about this map versus the other one we did. The waves here are really intense compared to the last one. Like,
yeah, the Emperor's Children are apparently like the scariest one to face. Like,
I guess I can believe it.
It's like we'll see about that in due course, I guess. Yeah. Because eventually we'll probably end up like randoming our way into having to face one.
Yep, that's like probably the first time you and I play together, just because my bad luck will corrupt everything.
Oh dear. Who knows? Maybe one of us will get to play as him. I wonder if they fixed the Fulgrim bug.
What is the Fulgrim bug? I'll bite.
When you summon Fulgrim, your game crashes.
Talking about things that are on topic, that
was a previous iteration of the game. I imagine they probably fixed it with like the more recent update they did.
I mean, they've got updates that have actual Primaris Marines, which, as of the time of this recording, is still like something like. When was that update? That was like 12, 15 months ago, something in that ballpark.
I can't honestly remember, but like the Sisters of Battle Army has those fucking weird fucking chapel backpack things.
True story. Yup, you're right.
Like they have those. They are modeled and in the game. Like,
the point is
the modders
that
work fast.
Yeah. These people are dedicated.
Yeah, they're just wonderful creators of absolute insanity, and I love it.
No, this has been an absolute joy to watch so far. Like I've got big expectations of the final waves now. Body count at 837.
So there's the Venerable.
Oh,
Venerable can be upgraded with some fun stuff: Twin Link, Las Cannon, Plasma Cannon. Gotta give him the Twin Link Assault Cannon.
Yeah.
We will soon be seeing some of the absolutely insane shit that the Death Guard will be able to unleash upon us. They have quite a crazed selection. Yeah, Dorn just goes up. Dorn and Tor. By the way, the more astute people will realize that Tor Garadon happens to just look like Avatus.
I'm sure that's a coincidence. I'm 100% positive.
Don't tell anybody, but I've changed chapters because I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of stealing anything, so I stole myself an entire chapter.
That would have been a healthier response than the one he ended up with. So
yes.
I support it.
Nothing is certain.
As he canonically just goes, I hate everything. I'm worshipping chaos now.
Time for prayer.
Disillusionment. Sons of Dorn. Those are basically the Primaris Marina equivalents. Yeah, all right.
Over there.
Yeah, I'm trying to move everyone. Like this is where it's sort of like we're getting into the honk bonk of like clown carring everybody into position right now. Because
you also do have apothecaries. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the Sister Hospitalia sort of thing is a reference to, but I'm sure someone can tell me.
Yeah.
The first of the fists.
Yeah, so the fists have dropped in. I don't know where. Oh no, I've got them there. So they're a melee unit as well, and they're all wielding thunder hammers.
Sure. That doesn't sound horrifying. God, I love how much those demon princes are just getting clowned on.
Yeah, they'll just intermittently come in and get like bamboozled. There we go. I finally got the Vindicator in a position where it could actually like do Vindicator things. And as you can see, when it shoots,
it just like jumps up like an excited dog, and I love it.
Yeah, because that gun is big. That gun is like I said, like when we talk about artillery for the Space Marines are a force where they drive in and they hit quick and they want to get out again. They want to extract quickly. So the Rhino chassis is so the Vindicator can drive up quick. The big dozer on the front is so that it could just push out of the way any fortifications or entanglement or tank traps that might get in its way. It's going to be driving up as close as it can to a wall of like a fortification, so it can blow it down. Like it's not like the whirlwind, which is like disrupting from long range. It is quite literally, I'm going to drive up to your door and like kick it in with like a giant artillery shell.
It is the really upscaled version of a battering ram from SWAT 4.
Yeah, and it's like, here we go.
Oh dear Christ!
The Plague Tower.
Holy Mother Mary, that's a lot.
A giant flying, like, evil land speeder. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Dorn will start losing health on this wave, because everything shooting at him is actually going to be quite substantial.
This goes no further.
And although he can, like, call down, like, all sorts of missiles and, like, barrages and stuff like that, it isn't really as effective as it could be.
I mean, at least with this situation, it's almost more for the disruption than anything else.
Yeah, because it's not really doing a huge amount of damage to like any of the vehicles, unfortunately. And it's not like the other ones where it fires down like a volley. It's just like one big boom.
Yeah.
Which is, the mod maker, I think, trying to differentiate. It's cool. I don't mind.
The Plague Tower.
Tor Garadon's doing alright though. The chaplain is hanging out with the sons, and I think they're all getting like bushwhacked right now. There's a lot going on here. Look at the sea of corpses.
Sorry. Just listening to the soundscape for a moment. The first thing I heard.
I think the botfly is actually the one doing most of the damage to Rogel Dawn there. It seems like it's just shooting him full of like plague. Which is like, I suddenly very quickly realized. Yeah, I suddenly very quickly realized that thing has to go whenever I see it.
Yeah.
And the first time I'm like, oh, I'll just stand it near like the Sister Hospitalier and like everything else and just like regen its health, it's fine.
Those kind of looked like, yeah, okay. I guess those guys are just knocked down, not resurrecting. I saw some of those zombies and plague marines just sort of levitating upward, and I'm just like, they aren't resurrecting.
That's my favorite bug.
Horrible.
That's my favorite bug in this game, where just people go, I have to return to my home planet now. And then just leave.
Oh,
they just float off into the sky.
It wasn't even that. It was a. I'm pretty sure it was just their way of getting up from knockdown, but because they sort of, you know, hover back to their feet, it looks like they were dead and they're now resurrecting. Which, okay, on brand for Nurgle, and also not fair. Let's not do that.
Well, down goes.
Womp womp.
Down goes. I have to rebuild the captain again.
Whatever his name is, that's another name that I don't recognize.
I'm not a big knowledge person when it comes to the siege dreadnought's still going strong though. Hey, it's been there since the beginning.
Oh,
okay, we need to take care of those.
Yeah.
So now we're in like the
arty.
That's right. They drove forwards. That was their mistake. Plague burst crawlers. Just 1-2 with the Graviton gun.
Slowing.
Well, in lieu of Rogel Dawn having enough health to be able to take the sun, I'll just send the Dreadnought in to fight him.
Seemed to work. Good night.
And Tor is going as well. Tor Garadon.
You keep saying his name, and I keep expecting us to start having to talk about how everyone spies on you using the internet. So please use this thing that was developed by the CIA and is completely 100% secure, and the CIA definitely cannot spy on you for it. That's Tor. That's like actual Tor in real life. Thanks.
The CIA, is there anything they can't
screw up? Yeah.
Aside from kill Fidel Castro.
Well, eventually, alcoholism did that for them. All right, eventually.
Can I just say, well, this is like the second time in a week I've managed to like CIA killing trying to kill Fidel Castro joke. I'm not sure what it is that's going on.
I mean,
it's so right.
There was this weird constellation of events where this character neither one of us has mentioned before happened to tee you up for it. So you know what? Like clearly the universe wants more CIA killing or trying to kill Fidel Castro. It's not our fault at this point, okay?
I also will say, like, when you were talking before, I thought you were gonna like say, oh, why isn't he finishing saying his full name and calling him Torg? Considering all the explosions going on.
I mean, I'm not sure that it's Tor that's doing all of that. Now, if he had like that weird backpack that Rogel has, where he could just has like 3 different kinds of airstrikes, yeah, okay, cool. Like, now I'm on board. I haven't seen not Avitus do anything directly that causes explosions.
Yeah, we haven't actually, like, every time he goes into fight, he gets completely obscured by all the violence around him, and no one's actually shot him yet. Like, he just seems to be like, he must be just that kind of guy that never gets noticed in combat.
I appreciate that the ironclad dreadnought's last bullet was slow, costly, tough. All right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they are essentially like. They're designed to go up to fortifications. If the Vindicator can't get in there, because, you know, it is still just a Rhino chassis, the Dreadnought, the Ironclad Dreadnought, goes in hard too. And, like, it's got, like, a full brace of, like, cluster munitions, you know, almost like claymores, just strapped to its front. So if things get in front of it, it just goes kablooey.
Okay, cool.
It's about the closest thing. Yeah, it's like the closest thing you'll get to like a Space Marine Al Tyson.
Yeah, I was about to make that joke. So, are we voicing it with Kyosuke Nanbu over here? Because that would make it perfect.
I don't want to see a Dreadnought try to do a guest Ben's kick or destroy the microphone yelling it. It's like, it's such an interesting thing. They've also got like, if I'm remembering it correctly, they've got like weird variations of like Dreadnought Power Fists as well. Like they're really specifically designed to like not just like hit armor, but like hammer it as they tear through it. It's kind of weird. Like, if I built one, we could probably just like sort of look at it and get you a good idea of it. But
I'm looking forward to this. Yes.
Well, I don't think I built it. I built so many other things.
You just deployed it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, like
okay,
you lit like that. That was what you put into the orbital relay, and you just
okay, good.
That was why I started talking about it. Is because you
this Hammerfall bunker
one.
is making me so mad. By the way, because obviously I guess I'm supposed to deploy further back, but it's just like everyone was falling over themselves. So I suppose like I should be like further back so the enemy funnels in, but I think my battle line is just sort of shifted forwards like that.
Hurricane bolter. Amazing.
Yes, so you can replace one of its arms with just like a brace of like bolters. Making it very effective at annihilating everything at close range. And as you can see, it's got missiles and it's got grenades and everything on the front of it as well. So it's got a sharp amount of ordnance it can throw.
All right, well, good job on you for being the tip of that spear, Demon Prince. How'd that go for you?
There's just like that carpet of corpses is so good.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
You
and
never
it credits to Soulstorm. It doesn't chug doing that nearly as much as like Dark Crusade did.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
I imagine some optimizations have been done by the mod makers, because the Unification Mod isn't just like making it so all like the survival modes and all the different factions work together and things like that as well. It does include a lot of like fan patches and fixes to a lot of problems that happen like visually and otherwise. Apparently they might have fixed the campaign bug with this latest update. I'm not sure. Apparently it was still a persistent problem before that.
And no, even if they did, he's not going back on undoing the campaign. Let's nip that one in the bud right now.
And yeah, like the game just still crashes. So like, like. So this is a cute little vehicle I built there. But this is what I was like. I really ought to get me some artillery.
Whirlwind Scorpius.
I really feel for this guy.
Seriously, like the tip of every spear has been a Demon Prince, and every single time, like it's died before it can throw its first real punch.
This particular tank is just nothing but plasma guns. It's a Predator with just like nothing but plasma guns on it. Which, to be fair, is probably a good counter to the Death Guard on account that it cauterizes as it destroys you.
Yeah, like. If we were really being scientific, it should stop some of these death explosions simply because it's cauterized everything it's touched to actual ash.
God,
just
look at
carbon.
It. They look great.
Oh Lord, another one.
They
of those.
Look great as they push in.
They really do.
Like now the frame rate's dropping.
Yeah.
But look how much is going on. This is the survival experience. There's a lot going on.
Mother.
It's almost impossible for me to keep up with what's going on right now because
that
it's such a target-rich environment. We're just going in. The glaive, like for me, like I just have to keep the glaive alive because the glaive can fight everything.
Phalanx orbital strikes.
Oh yes, he is actually calling. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
he's calling down it from the Phalanx. He's
yeah,
calling,
it's not
because
just...
it is the Phalanx is ostensibly the chapter monastery of the Imperial Fists. They're unlike other ones. They don't have really a planet they like to hang out at. They travel through a lot of different sectors and just they have a few planets that if they pass through on their patrols, they'll be like, oh yeah, we'll pick up people from there. I believe the planet of Necromunda is one such location that often the Imperial Fists will sweep in and grab people because there's a lot of violence going on there.
They also just tend they also have an affinity for Hive worlds as a whole.
Yeah, big fortifications, love them.
Yep.
Yeah, but this is like Necromunda is a good breeding ground for candidates just on the sheer amount of violence that's going on a day-to-day basis, and they can just sort of like a person whose job is to go and find the candidates can just go like hang out in the Underhive. Oh, they blow up my boy. Again, not killing the bot flies nearly fast enough.
Those things are just vicious. Like they're so understated too. Like you barely notice them there, but like the once or twice you've clicked on them, like I've seen that they're like good against a fair bit of stuff, and their range damage was like multiple hundreds. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're
the
not
general upshot
around.
being that they do not stand up against like being shot by anything, but they've got a good range on them, so you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Executioner is what they call that one. So we'll just rebuild our little tanky boy. The Ironclad did not survive combat, I don't think.
No, it was on the front line at that southern flank. It did not stand much of a chance.
So the Death Guard, they're actually a fairly more prominently featured faction in Warhammer 40k at the moment. I think they're basically the major problem that you face if you play Demon Hunters, the Grey Knight game, because they're essentially spreading a giant, horrible, shitty plague all across the goddamn many systems that you're trying to protect. And so it's like trying to put down all their insane little Nurgle fires that they're spreading everywhere.
Multiple kinds of fires.
Because when you think about it, like we've talked about how it's even possible for like a computer to get demonically possessed. A microbe can be demonically possessed.
100%.
That's fucking scary. Like, you've got, like, this angry little gribbly thing that you can only see with the microscope, and it's just, like, trying to get inside of you so that you shit your insides out.
That is its entire reason for existing.
Like, I wonder if the flu virus ascended to Demon Princehood in this setting.
If it didn't, then it is definitely the most underappreciated worker in Nurgle's arsenal. Because the flu has been fucking around with humanity for most of our development. Like most of our development from being just predatory apes that ate a lot of cooked meat, right? To modern day, pretty much that like that entire transition, the flu has been with us. It has never gone away. It has always been there, and occasionally it flares up and does things like the Spanish flu of 1912,
which did a lot of damage.
Oh man, like Black Death levels of damage to the entire world.
Yeah, I feel like the Spanish flu gets really understated in just how much like harm it caused.
I think it ends up getting lost simply because it happened it happened pretty much in exactly the same time as World War I, and everybody's just like, wow, World War I was really terrible, wasn't it? And it absolutely was. One of the reasons why it was so terrible is because one of the leading theories as to why the Spanish flu was able to become a pandemic in the first place was because such an outrageously virulent and lethal flu could keep growing and existing precisely because of the conditions that World War I gave you. It was dark. It was damp. Everybody was really crowded together in these trenches, and or just packed into ships and so forth. Because one little bit of trivia. The leading theory, nobody can know for sure, but the leading theory of where the Spanish flu actually started, patient zero, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. I lived like an hour and a half away from it.
USA.
It most likely came out from there. working its way through like ship underbellies where everybody was crammed in like sardines, because if troops were going somewhere, you wanted to get as many of them as possible. And if you were moving people around anywhere, refugees, anything like that, again, you wanted as many of them in there as possible. It was a very particular environment that the Spanish flu required to kill so many people, but holy crap, kill people it did.
Actually, speaking of demon princes, I've often heard the theory that the very first corn demon in the Warhammer 40,000 setting, like the very first like demon prince that ever ascended from humans, was implied to be Genghis Khan.
Also scans I
don't know how true that is. That's like a thing that I've just heard from here and there. I don't think it comes up in any more of the more recent stuff. Like, I think we're talking like early Rogue Trader sort of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like the general implication seems to be that Genghis Khan is a demon of corn hanging out there somewhere in the setting, ready to cause more problems.
I kind of like a lot of that old Rogue Trader stuff because it does give you as the player much more of a connection to the universe, and like we've spoken about this briefly, but like Warhammer 40k is literally it is a very grimdark, very dystopian view of how one of our futures could be. But it is supposed to be our future, like as a reminder. In addition to maybe Genghis Khan was a demon prince of corn at the end of his life. It's also almost explicitly said that the Emperor of Mankind ended up becoming the Emperor in the way that we know him, because all of his other attempts failed. Like he tried to be Jesus. He tried to be Muhammad. He tried to be any of a number of other very big and powerful unifying forces, and it never worked. So finally he basically just ran out of patience and was like, all right, fine, I'm just gonna choke humanity into shape. Oh, that was intimidating.
Oh, the Plague Reaper.
Just sort of appearing out of the fog.
It's probably a very solid hard counter to our Gladius.
And there's more of those flying nightmares back there too. Amazing.
And this ain't even the final wave.
Nope. This this is the second to last wave.
This is wave 9. We're like very far into. Even I'm like kind of looking at the clock, going, "Oh man, like did I like accidentally like just put more footage on?" And then I just see that like only just now is this wave turning up, and how long it takes to get through. And I'm like, nah, this scans. This is still working.
Yeah, like
we just hit 1500 dead Death Guard. Possibly dead Imperial Guard. I'm sorry, Imperial Fist as well. I'm not sure actually, but
I'm 95% sure that's only counting enemy deaths. But
Tor Serpedon's just about to fucking kick the bucket.
I mean, it's about time.
He says I took Tor Serpedon. It's Tor Garadon. I don't know why he says Serpedon. Serpedon's like a dude involved in the Emperor's Children. I've got like fucking lore brain today. It's all like mushing together.
Tor Dongwater.
Yeah, so Dorn doesn't really like last like 5 seconds in a fight. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, there's way too much incoming, and it's all incoming from pretty serious platforms too. Those are 2 bot flies. We have the tank. Like everything is happening.
I was sort of like, maybe if I just let Dorn die and just like rebuild him, that's a better idea, because he'd be at full health for the final wave. So I just kind of sent him in, I think. Let's watch him die.
Oh, can't even really.
Yeah, I couldn't even really make it out. Very unceremonious. I think he just fell over. He went, "Father, I am cringe." I think he actually just said something then, but.
Yeah, well, he's been kind of slurring his words since he came up. Maybe like he might just be showing up to this entire thing drunk.
My lord, I think Rogel Dorn is drunk.
Well, What the hell do you expect us to do about it? Literally the Primarch, bro. He wants to drink. You gonna tell him no? I didn't think so.
The fucking Space Wolf kicks the door in and goes, "You fucking get drunk and you fight him, you idiot!"
Point us at the enemy.
No Space Wolf would be intimidated by Lim and Russ being drunk and violent. They'd be like, "Yeah, get drunk," and then just like get their head caved in.
It's fine. They have wolf priests on
punch him
hand
above
for
my
that
weight.
sort of situation. It's happened like 8 times just today.
I imagine the Space Wolves have like a fucking like dreadnought sarcophagus that they never actually use, but it's just got systems in there for like the people who just like for the day after, the ones who like get really, really, really fucking drunk. And it's just like their drunk tank.
I do love the idea that you know, like,
Yeah.
a space wolf gets so drunk that they are.
They just lock him in. They hook him up to some of the life support systems, and they lock him in a fucking dreadnought sarcophagus for the night.
There's no, not for the night. They're so drunk that they're like drunk for 10 years or whatever, and they're just sort of they're like, well, he's got to show up to work tomorrow, man. Like, we're fighting, and it's just, I don't care if it's just throw him in there. He'll fight, and you know, at the end of this crusade, we'll let him out. He's probably dried up by then. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, like the stiffest legs in existence.
Yeah. Just the space wolves are the only ones where somebody ends up actually coming out of a
Dreadnought.
a dreadnought, because the only
It's just
reason
like
they were
another
there
Space
was-
Marine chapter just happens to be nearby when they just open it up and this dude just gets out, stretches and goes, "Oh jeez, what a party!" I would fucking hate being a Space Marine on campaign with the Space Wolves. You just know what's gonna happen. They're like the fucking Blood Ravens were like, "Hey, we can use psychic divination to like, you know, to tell where the enemy is," and like a Space Wolf just runs up and like punches the guy in the face really hard. The Dark Angels turn up and like the Space Wolves like, "We have to do our ritual fight where we reenact the time your boss cold cocked our dude in the back of the head." It's just like, and like the Dark Angels are like, "We don't care. We've got like other things to be doing." They're like, "What?" Fuck. It's like they can't like, cause like they can't like say we've got better things to do and actually say what the better things are, because if they
Right.
do, like the whole secret comes out. So they're kind of like, it just makes it sound like they're like running scared.
Even though
So they can't do that. So
even though their secret is like the stupidest fucking thing in existence. I love
it is so funny.
It is
like,
it is the funniest damn thing in the planet to me. Like the Dark Angels' dark secret is the stupidest thing on the planet, and if they just said it out loud, like all of the other Space Marine chapters would be like, "That's it? Seriously? Oh my god, dude! Seriously, don't worry." And like this,
I mean, at this point, they're in so deep with like having fucked around and done so
Yeah.
many like horribly like stupid things where they've like abandoned their allies, abandoned planets, and all sorts of stupid shit. At that point, it's just kind of like, I think they have to stick with it, because if they came out and said that was the reason why they were doing it, they would probably get the shit kicked out of them.
yeah, but, like, oh, yeah, you're
Liam
right,
and Russ would like
actually.
re-emerge from the warp, running at them like fucking like with like Orgo running animation that I always like keep spamming on my streams. I just like fucking zooming towards them.
Just to be clear, in case there's somebody watching who doesn't understand, like the Dark Angels have this entire concept called the Fallen Angels, and basically in a particularly critical battle, there were a bunch of Dark Angels that, you know, like went rogue or abandoned their posts, or basically just like in their minds
It wasn't really a battle. Like basically what happened was Lionel Johnson got increasingly paranoid about those around him, and so anyone who he thought was against him, he basically just confined to Caliban, their homeworld, and essentially was just like train up the new recruits there, and so ended up creating an entire structure of people who hated his fucking guts because he left them to rot. And as a result of this, Chaos got involved.
Yep.
And like, so when like after the Horus Heresy, when the Dark Angels potentially hung back waiting to see what was going to happen and who was going to win. Although I believe they've retconned a fair bit of that out, and I think they actually like they were kind of cut off alongside the Space Wolves. They returned and were immediately fired upon by the planet, and because obviously the people who had a problem with Lionel Johnson had become also suitably paranoid and psychotic as well, worried that their little sort of plots and plans were getting busted. Basically, they self-fulfilling prophesized themselves really bad, and so Lionel Johnson just nuked his home planet. And as a result of this, some of them got spirited away by the forces of chaos across time and space. And so the Dark Angels, horrified at the idea that someone might figure out that there's, a Primarch stupidity resulted in everybody, in everything getting fucked up, because God knows that's never happened before.
And like, hey, a lot of these Space Marines fell to chaos and got spirited away, and we don't know where they are. That's the big secret. Lionel Johnson was a fucking idiot, and there were a lot of Space Marines that probably got turned to chaos because of it. This is literally happened thousands of times.
Yeah, by this point, it's happened so many times. Like, it's just like whatever, man. Like. But that's just it. Like the Dark Angels were so and Lionel Johnson in particular were just so obsessed with like secrets, that it's honestly like harmed them more than anything. And I think that's the intentional irony of it all.
It's just absolute. There's no way that's not intentional. The only way that it's remarkable at all is that everybody else talked about it and forgave themselves. Everybody else talked about it and forgave themselves.
Gulliman came to see the Dark Angels with Primarchs Marines, and the Dark Angels were like, "Oh fuck, he knows we're gonna have to kill him." I was just like, he doesn't know, and he probably doesn't care.
He really couldn't care less. Like particularly Gulliman, because Gulliman was the one who had a front row seat to all of his brothers acting like complete bellends, just total morons and dicks. And
he's like Gulliman's like, "Oh, you guys did something weird, huh?" And he looks over like off into the distance, and he's just got this mental image of like fucking being told by Fulgrim, "Oh yeah, Conrad Kurz kind of got mad at Rogel, at Dorn, and ate his liver." It's just like Gulliman's just like staring at the distance, going, "What?"
This is your 10 millennia long secret. Like it is absolutely a massive ironic joke about the value of forgiving yourself. Like it is a very clear self-care lesson wrapped up in this grim dark universe, and so I love it. I could not ask for anything better. Please don't change a thing. 11 out of 10.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I was just like, oh, God bless him. But yeah, we're on to the final wave, and it's literally everything.
Good lord.
We've got everything we can throw back at them, though, so we're gonna...
But the corpse pile just still somehow keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, it's beautifully dense. It's wonderful. I suppose this is one of those things where you just want to save a replay, and then you can just do artistic angles of it, things like that.
Jesus, talk about danger close on that strike from the Phalanx.
Well, considering how little damage it did to everything, I was just like, well,
yeah, well,
I'll just fucking tank it with Dorn's face. It's fine.
Whoa!
I'm throwing everything out. I'm throwing out psychic powers. When was the last time you saw me use actual psychic powers in this game?
I genuinely don't remember. I'm pretty sure you made Isidore do it at one point, but even then it was probably just making sure that people knew that it existed.
I've just got plasma guns just firing everywhere, graviton guns roaring off. I've got Centurions dying. I've got that little thunder cannon that he's taken up no cap. He's gonna stay there forever. I probably could have built more of them, honestly. The game probably would have let me build heaps of them. Who knows?
Honestly, I'm still surprised that they're still funneling everything around through the center and not coming up and hitting your southern or northern flanks. Where that thunder cannon is. I mean, I'm fine with it. Like they can definitely just stay.
I think it's just the route. I think it's just the route and the terrain from their base to our base just sort of benefits that angle.
I'm totally fine with it. Like I'm not asking for it to be more stressful here. Like, I'm enjoying just sitting here watching this.
Yeah. This has been great.
Show.
I've been loving lore chat. We've never really got a chance to talk about a lot of the other like factions and things in the game so much. So it's good to sort of like branch into fun topics like that. And it's a nice way to sort of cap off of it because this is the last one, the last official episode. From here on in, I will be finally moving on to other projects.
I'm looking forward to it. I've definitely been working on my own projects, but they are not let's play projects. Everybody will be hearing about that before too much longer. If you're in our Discord, you've already heard a fair bit about it. But I'll be like I don't want to get into a huge info dump about it right at the end of an hour and a half long video. So there will be some.
It's gonna be even longer than that when we add in like the army painter.
Yeah, it's like.
But we won't be here for that.
Yeah, we won't be here for that. But yeah, I'll have some more stuff to announce here pretty soon. Like I haven't been taking the lead on any of our Let's Play projects for a while, but suffice to say, I've not been idle.
There's like so many impact credits in that one location, the game's not sure which one to overlay first, so it's kind of discoing. Like, we're almost done. Oh my Jesus Christ!
Blade
it is
Whirlwind.
A carpet. This is maximum fucking. This is maximum corpse.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Like you can sort of see how my line has like moved inched forwards because like you see the plague. You see, like, the plague zombies from, like, the beginning there.
Yeah, that was, like, I was looking over at the left side of the screen, and you can, like, if you look close, you can still see like, cultist corpses over there. Like...
And now it's just, like, the center of combat has just been this one disgusting sea. And with that done, that should be it. So now everyone can just get moving. Dorn died, everybody died, but we win.
Advance and crush his base!
The Glaive is definitely the MVP of this.
Yeah, no joke. I'm a little sad we don't get kill counts on individual units like you do in like Total War.
I think that Standard Bearer stood throughout the entirety of it as well. Because he's with the Space Marine squad, they were a bit far back. Anything got too close, they opened fire. But yeah, look, frame rate.
Ow, it's more than 2.
My God, it's big numbers again. Like, the shots just look like they're going so quickly now. If I pan back to the corpse pile, it slows down again. I think that might be what's causing it.
It's just freaking you need like 3 gigabytes of VRAM just to render that corpse pile.
Yeah, it's just so funny to me. It's just like, over here, everything chugs. Over here, everything's smooth.
Don't worry about it.
That's just the fucking game engine for you. It's fine. Tribulation mode. Yeah, so I couldn't tell you about any like the building types or the way that they perform for the Death Guard, but who knows? Maybe when we play some streams for some skirmishes and stuff like that, we'll show those off.
Maybe we'll see if maybe we can random in there. Chosen Plague Marines Assault Squad. Wow, that's a lot of words.
Yeah, there's a lot of. It does seem like from the army painted, there's a lot of case of here is bad enemy, but larger and fatter. I do like the infection point as the command structure. It's just like kind of like a church, but everybody in there has diarrhea.
When you're out for a ride, feel squishing skin.
That's right. Diarrhea.
Infection point. I will say that is a stroke of genius. Just from the
gift repository.
Yeah, I don't quite know the word to use. Like the visceral impact.
I'm actually gonna do it here for the end of it. There we go. So yeah, I imagine some people are going to be like, man, why didn't he play the Tyranids? That'll be for the streams, I think.
Yeah.
We'll have to set up a skirmish specifically where we're holding out against the Tyranids, I think. as different factions. I think that would be good.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't be stressful as hell.
Just play as the Imperial Fists. What could
Oy.
possibly go wrong? And that's
go wrong.
I actually decided to look through this because obviously it didn't crash this time.
Fantastic.
Actually cut a stat screen this time because it didn't crash. When was the last time we saw one of those? So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us for Dawn of War Soulstorm. That was the second and final of the episode specifically devoted to Unification. It's a pretty damn good set of mods. Even if you're someone who doesn't have like a whole bunch of other people to play with, you have so much to dig into and mess around with like regular maps and skirmish mode, and it's like the modified campaign, and also the survival. Survival is honestly probably like 100%. Like, it blows my mind that nobody at Relic ever went, wow, that's a really good idea for like a game mode. We should put that in our game. Like, they never went and did that. It was kind of like after Dawn of War 2 Last Stand was real good, and they were making Dawn of War 3, they went, you know what, let's not bring back that really good thing that everybody loved. And let's make this weird destroy 3 things to win the esports game thing as So yes. Once again, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining me for everything, cool guy. It is always great to have you along to talk about the nonsense that is Warhammer 40,000 lore. And I will hope to see everybody in the next project. I won't bother announcing it here just because it always feels really weird when you announce your next project in a Let's Play when someone gets to the end of a playlist having watched it like 2 years later.
Yeah.
And being like, well, I already know what he did next. I may have even watched that beforehand. So we'll see you all in the next project, which will probably, hopefully, come fairly soon, depending on how much I pre-record, which will probably be a lot. Like last time, there'll be a lot of pre-recording. That's a hint to what I'm going to be doing. So we'll see you all next time.